it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Nice to see you. Hey, I'm still working on this kid's case, still getting retaliated against. Pretty unreal, dude. You know, it's just so obvious. And I'm trying to get my travel company to get me the hell out of this place because I don't even want to go back to this hospital over the weekend. I don't even want to see these bitch nurses. I mean, like I said, you know, they don't care because they're all getting paid off. You know, they don't care if they fuck me over. You know, they think that they've got all kinds of protection because they're getting some kind of like bribery scandal under a sting operation from wherever the hell this is funneling through, which basically is back-ended by this FBI, CIA, Al-Qaeda task force. Remember, we're dealing with terrorism. So it's the FBI, CIA, Al-Qaeda task force that's doing this in the back end, but they're funneling it through in the front end by using the nurses at the hospital and the other healthcare providers and the other doctors. Keep in mind that Mark Moore, one of the CIA guys, known to federal law enforcement, known to Homeland Security, known to the Marshals, his brother is, or alleged brother, is apparently a trauma surgeon. So, like, honestly, I shouldn't even be working in the healthcare industry. But you know what? Like I said, I have no other option unless, you know, a bunch of you guys want to help me and buy some stun guns from Damsel in Defense. Online shopping. But it all goes back to, like I said, this thing. This is what I printed off the Alaska U.S. Marshals website. This is this guy, Peter. And, you know, the U.S. Marshals were able to get his kids, you know, he was able to make a police report and, you know, they just did everything for him. Me, every time I try to do anything for my son, I just get retaliated against. I mean, that's all the more to get me suspicious that I think that the FBI traded the kids. I really, really think they traded the kids. And the trouble is that making a missing persons report on my son, Adrian, or any of the other kids, I just don't think that it's going to work unless I get that Homeland Security inquiry from the Senate, which apparently that's in process. But whether or not I'll be alive enough to act, you know, alive in time to actually get it, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, you know, I don't even know who the hell assaulted my child. And then I don't know how the heck a police department's going to be able to figure that out when the kids are suspected to be in a foreign country, perhaps in the country of Iran, because like how the hell are they going to pull forensics and do all that kind of stuff? So I mean, that's what I said. You know, a lot of stuff, of course, the DOJ should have been handling this up in Washington. Everybody knows that, but I think it's like BS, you know, that I have to go through this every day and I have to be retaliated against. I even called Special Agent Phil Roney, you know, my Homeland Security agent up there in Buffalo. I'm like, look, dude, you know, I am so sick of getting retaliated against. I know this is a big case. I mean, I know it's a huge case. I understand that. There's a lot of missing people. There's a lot of criminal components, a lot of financial crimes. It's terrorism. It's huge. It's massive. Massively huge. Bigger than Hurricane Katrina, okay? Huge. But the trouble is that I keep getting retaliated against, so I don't really like it. And, you know, it says right here, Senator Jon Kyl, Senator Jon Kyl of Arizona. You know, I think when he took a look at my case, I think this is what put him into retirement. You know, all of a sudden, after 26 years in the Senate, then he takes a look at my case, and then here's, you know, he gets this letter back from the FBI, the Counterterrorism Division of the FBI. And I think literally it threw him into retirement because, you know, it was just so unreal for Mark Giuliano, the Assistant Director of the Counterterrorism Division in the National Security Branch, to pretty much just say, oh well on everything. Oh well on me, the core victim, the one that made the initial FBI report, and oh well on everything else. Now, he has since resigned from his position up there in Washington, D.C. as the Assistant Director of the Counterterrorism Division and is now the Special Agent in charge, apparently, in the FBI office in Georgia. That's definitely one place I want to go, is Georgia. But interestingly enough, there's a little spy nurse, travel nurse, from Georgia. And she tries to act like Georgia's so damn great. Yeah, far from it, Giuliano. You want me to start thinking that you're a damn great agent? You know, if you're running a special agent in charge office over there in Georgia, why don't you throw some of your own damn asshole agents in prison? Start making up for all the damn shit that you didn't do when you were in your professional capacity up there in Washington, D.C. But, yeah, right. Don't bet on it. But anyway, so everything goes back to the kids. And like I said, I found some emails last night. I had to go through some stuff because, like I said, they steal all my stuff. So I've made like many books like this before, but they're always stealing stuff. So it's what you call concealing evidence. That's why they try to steal my stuff, concealing evidence. But here's the first email that I got from the Swiss embassy in Iran. This was back in June 14th, 2011. Dear Miss Knisely, with regard to your inquiry, please note that the colleague you spoke with who spoke with you and is familiar with this case, is currently on leave and will contact you upon her return to work next week. Okay. All right, and then another email that I got back from the Embassy of Switzerland Foreign Interest Section. Dear Miss Knisely, this is to confirm receipt of your message dated July 14th, 2011, along with this attachment, which has been forwarded to the U.S. Department of State pending receipt of advice and instruction on the matter at hand. I mean, when I told you I contacted the Swiss embassy in Tehran, Iran, because I wasn't getting any help from my own country, and that they were going to contact the State Department to advise, that's exactly what the hell I mean. Here it is, right here. Okay, and then here's the email from this Donna Wiss, you know, the one that I think that could have done a better job, you know, up there. I'm following up on the contact you have made with the Swiss embassy in Tehran, Iran. Then I get this. Then, you know, despite there being a Office of Children's Issues case open for my son on a proactive mode, case number 97259, open in May, June 2004, when I was up there in Humboldt County, California, this Donna Wiss, when she emails me, insists that she has my son's birth certificate. I don't know why the hell the State Department needs my son's birth certificate, but I actually ordered it from the county of Humboldt, and I never got it. That's when I was working down in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. That was actually right after Special Agent Phil Roney and I went over this whole case over the phone. You know, I spent like an hour and a half of my time on the phone with him, going over every single last thing that I could possibly think of that would lead him to call me in the first place, based on a missing persons report that I had made on my cousins up there in Rochester. So, I mean, you know, I had to hit it with, you know, to somebody, you know, when it seemed like somebody cared about the situation. Especially Agent Phil Roney, he comes from the U.S. Marshals. You know, it's not like I called Homeland Security myself up there. I mean, somebody in the U.S. Marshal Service, whether it was a second in charge, this Brian Matthews or somebody contacted him and wanted to go over the case. So, you know, but I've been retaliated against like crazy ever since. Now, apparently, according to a police officer in Kingman, Arizona, who talked to Agent Roney, apparently I'm supposed to be getting some restitution for this. But, like, okay, but that's not the point. Can everybody just stop? Can everybody just, like, stop abusing me because you want to, like, work in this conspiracy with the FBI? Dude, they're in a lot, like I said, they're in a lot of fucking goddamn trouble. I am so sick of getting retaliated against all the time because of your goddamn fucking dumbasses. When there are major components. And then, like, every time I try to go after the kid, either I go after the kid, like, physically to try to figure out if I can make a missing persons report, or if I go after him by using child support and attempting to trail it that way, because it could be done probably either way, either direction. You know, I end up getting retaliated against at work, and I am just so sick of, I am so sick of all these damn stupid fictitious sting operations that everybody comes up with. And the reason why the FBI does this to you is because it's called witness tampering. Witness tampering? They want you to hack me so then I won't give any kind of testimony to either any other law enforcement, make any other law enforcement report, or actually give testimony maybe someday in court, in whatever court. You know, and it's like, dude, this is terrorism. We got terrorists out roaming the streets. We got kids that are perhaps wrapped somewhere within the Islamic Republic of Iran or Al Qaeda or whoever, whatever the hell you want to call it. Lots of kids. We got a lot of, like, probably dead people, dude, and not just my family. Other victim witnesses, like my son's half sister Brooke. Her mother, Tabitha Mueller, I'm sure they've killed her already. I'm sure they've killed her. I'll never forget, we hadn't talked in years. And she found my cell phone number on Facebook, calls me in a panic. And she's telling me all this kind of stuff's going on, and there are all these guys that have been manipulating her, and, you know, and she put Brooke on the phone, and here's Brooke, and I hadn't talked to her in years, and I could just, they were so scared. And, you know, she wanted me to call her damn stupid family law attorney. I call her family law attorney, and I could just tell right away her family law attorney was working in this whole damn conspiracy because she was a bitch. But, you know, I told Tabitha to get the hell out of damn town and fuck this damn thing because, like I said, stuff had already broke with the Senate. So, it's, I mean, like, it's a little bit different. She was scared to take the kid across state lines because she didn't want to be charged with kidnapping. Okay, which I understand because I went through that myself. Attorneys up there in Humboldt County told me that. You know, so that was one reason that I didn't take my son back to New York with my mom and stuff like that. We were worried about being charged with parental kidnapping. So, I mean, I understand Tabitha's point, and I understand she wasn't the one that, you know, went to the Senate, but I could not get Tabitha out of Las Vegas. Who knows? Somebody could have been holding her there even when she called me and stuff. She was trying to lure me back to Las Vegas to show up for her family law hearings that the FBI, I'm sure, set up in the back end. The FBI along with the DOJ, because remember, they're like pretty much the same people. But, criminals, at least some of them. And, the only other thing that I can think of as to how the heck they're legally getting away with this, because, is they're probably back-ending everything through the FISA court. Do you know what the FISA court is? It's a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. They have a court system with a bunch of judges. And so, they probably traded the kids in the FISA court. I mean, I thought the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, I thought that was basically based on on surveillance of certain situations regarding, or people regarding terrorism. But, it's possible they could have traded the kids in FISA. They could be manipulating everything in the FISA court and somehow getting these legal orders. I mean, I haven't ruled that out either, because I'm just trying to imagine. I mean, I know Las Vegas is corrupt, and I know that the U.S. Attorney's Office is corrupt there. They could have done more, and they didn't. But I wouldn't have necessarily thought that everybody else in the United States of America would be corrupt, okay? But I'm finding out that that is quite to the contrary. And, I can't even believe it. You know what, here's the thing. I mean, if a law enforcement officer came up to me, this is at any level, whether that's a cop, sheriff, trooper, federal guy, marshal, whoever, and told me, offered me some kind of bribe to do something, I would have to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. That would be your job. I mean, when my brother used to buy alcohol for Detective Charlie Richardson, I mean, that was kind of a cut and dry one, because, everybody kind of knows the law. The law would be, a place is not supposed to sell underage or alcohol to underage people, to minors. So that's a cut and dry thing. Well, everybody knows that. Okay, but these nurses, they could get in a hell of a lot of goddamn trouble. These healthcare providers, witness tampering, making up shit, all kinds of stuff. And, they think that fine, that they're getting paid off right now. Are they gonna, what are they gonna do? They're gonna be in a shitload of goddamn trouble in the future. And it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years. But, I'm telling you, there was a nurse I worked with in the emergency room. Her name was Erica. She worked at Spring Valley Hospital emergency room. Now, her husband was a cop at the Las Vegas Metro. Now, get this. So, I have to drop out of my MBA program at the University of Phoenix. And then she gets her MSN from the University of Phoenix. I can't find my mom still to this day. But apparently she gets her mom to move out from Ohio to help her. Okay, now her husband, the Las Vegas Metro Police cop, apparently also got a promotion. So do you see how this bribery thing is going? I mean, another one of my friends, Tina Tana, she wasn't dating a cop, but boy, she just showed up one day with a yellow Ford Mustang that was quite beautiful and was getting a great deal on a refinance of her house. But of course, would never help me and my son. I mean, and it's over and over again. I could give many, many examples of this. Do you know that the only healthcare provider that ever called the police on my behalf was actually a neurologist? All these years, only healthcare provider that I know that has contacted the police been a neurologist. Because I went over and I gave them this letter, and they contacted the police, and Las Vegas Metro showed up. Of course, Las Vegas Metro didn't do anything for me because I just had my computer ripped off. And they refused to go get the operating system off my computer because they didn't want to arrest their other law enforcement friends for doing that. They just want to turf me over to Best Buy, telling me to just go buy another operating system myself. That's why I said, I really do. I just don't know how I can live in the United States of America. But the motive behind all of this is because they traded the kids for terrorism information, or they used the kids in some way to obtain terrorism information. And they let this guy, who's apparently still a fugitive down in Texas, according to the Marshals service, he has an FBI number. The Marshal service in Houston told me that. I don't know his FBI number, but he's got an FBI number. If you go to my Facebook page, America's Most Wanted Terrorists on Facebook. Okay? The Marshal service told me he's got an FBI number. I figured out that he probably did just because, Senator Jon Kyl got me this FBI counterterrorism letter that probably, like I said, threw him into retirement. So, and he also has an ICE number, an ICE identification number, also called an A number. But this guy's very dangerous. This Mark Moore, the CIA guy that's helping the FBI cover everything up, he's very, very dangerous. These FBI agents, this task force is very, very dangerous. It has been very, very dangerous to a lot of people. And you know what? I know they're all trying to like just basically take me out so that I don't have to testify against them. But you know, either way, I win. I get murdered. They're still going to prison. If I'm alive, then, you know, maybe I'll be alive to, you know, give some testimony. But anyway, you know, stop. Stop the abuse. Stop the bullshit. You're going to prison no matter what. You're going to prison. Fraudulent misrepresentation of terrorism and all the components that go along with it. And everybody that's working in your conspiracy is going down too. So that's tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Don't fuck with me. I'll see you next time.